We have Thomas tonight in a different location, at a different location. We explain a little later why. We have Dave from London. We have Stanky from Freezing Sweden. We are very, very happy to have Günther and the Vinyl from Düsseldorf. We have Nadine from Cologne. And we have Peter, Basement 45, south of Cologne. Guten Abend.
Guten Abend.
Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
But you changed your room due to some reasons. Share. Why are you not?
Yeah, it's really it's so cold in Copenhagen today. It's like minus 15 degrees, and the big room is like 0 degrees. And I was like, oh, I can't sit there for the whole night. No. So I went into my small grave here with a lot of records.
Okay, nice. Serious. I think this is also the room where you do have your blue notes, right?
Yes, it is. So they'll be very close.
So what we will do today is talking about some amazing records at the beginning that are in the OBC shop, and then get into nobody less than Fela Kuti and some other Nigerian musicians, which of course is cool because we not only have you as an expert, we also have Dave as an expert. And you have heard about Fela Kuti, Dave, haven't you?
Well, I've been an addict for about 30 years, so
okay.
I'm probably quite a good person to speak to about it. And plus, I've got a box of every single record of his next to me just here.
Okay, just in case, right?
Just in case we need to do some reference.
Okay, that's great.
I love your scarf. Are there skulls on your scarf, Dave?
Yeah,
of course there are.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
He's a Chelsea fan. What do you expect?
It's like those Chelsea headhunters, Vivian Westwood, and a lovely love heart as well.
I love the scarf.
Combination of things. But, you know, I've been a little bit under the weather. I've had a bit of COVID, so I just want to keep my neck warm for the stream. After Thomas saying it's minus 15 in Copenhagen, it's making me feel a bit cold. So I'm keeping my scarf now. Yeah.
I heard beer is helping, Dave.
Yeah.
Beer always helps.
By the way, happy
beer
New Year.
Always helps. But cheers. Not that stuff you get at Cologne, of course. You get the good one.
Not saying anything to this.
So, Thomas, what are we listening to here right now? At least.
Yeah, I think it was a good start up with the Nigerian music. It's not Fela Kuti, but it's from one of the most famous Nigerian labels, Aphrodisia. And it's Black Goodies, which is this one.
Wow.
And that's one of my favorite albums on Aphrodisia. It's the whole album is good. It's like a Nigerian Brazilian collaboration for a soundtrack. It's really amazing. I couldn't choose a track. It's all the tracks on it are really amazing. Yeah. I can play a little bit so you hear it.
Maybe put up a little bit the Okay.
Yeah, for me it has a little bit the same feeling as Fela Kuti, like the same rhythm and then building up and putting in like nice jazz music.
Although this is not Fela Kuti, Dave, are you aware of this record?
Well, I'm aware of Aphrodisia as a label, and
I remember.
It's a Decca label that they set up, I believe, in is West Africa, and Aphrodisia as a label. I mean, they were prolific. They put out a lot of records. Like that one, I mean, it's amazing, Thomas. Like lovely jazz vibes to it as well. It's got that Fela sort. It's got that jazz undercurrent with the African beats, but different. It's different to Fela, but it's got a real lovely vibe about it. Very good, yeah. And you know, the Aphrodisia as a label is highly collectible. That a lot of them were pressed in the UK and then marketed in Africa. So they do turn up over here. They do.
So meaning pressed in the UK, shipped to Nigeria.
Some were here, but there's also ones that were just pressed in Africa as well. There's a lot of madness to do with the different setups with both EMI, which we'll talk about a bit as well, like Parlophone. They all set up, Parlophone set up a pressing plant in Africa to press records, and Decca as well. There's actually African pressed records, but some were pressed here. So it's a real minefield, this area, but what a great minefield to get into, yeah?
Exactly, and that's why you're here, so that we clear up the minefield a little bit.
We tried. We're out there testing it, yeah? Before we get our legs blown off.
Okay, let's listen to it a little bit more.
So yeah, that's a beautiful record. I'd say that's African record as well.
But Thomas, this is a sampler. This is a sampler, so it's quite cheap, is it?
Yeah. For you, maybe.
No. Is it a sampler or it's just called as a compilation or something?
No, it's the soundtrack.
It's a soundtrack. Okay.
I think it's around €1,500, but I'm not. I haven't checked up, but I think that's.
I like that €1,500. So it's kind of gives an idea of the prices that we get into with some of these rare African records. I think that's important to point that out from the start. Some of these are so rare that when they turn up, if they turn up, and if they have a great cover, the prices are very, very high.
But this one sounded pretty excellent. It has like no crackles or anything. It was pretty decent.
No, it's like a VG Plus copy.
Nice. Yeah, okay, now we got our very first taste of what we are up to, but before we now dive completely into Nigeria and Fela Kuti, we also wanted to play very few records that are already in the OBC shop. And I asked Thomas, because I so love this album, that we, amongst others, get into the Tito's Grown. Because I also got a copy this year, and I really love this record by now. It's prog rock, correct me if I'm wrong, but amazing prog rock. So maybe most of you know it. For those of you who do not know it, this is really quite often overlooked prog rock masterpiece in my opinion. Hey Dom. Here we go. By the way, wonderful gate. Wait, are you aware of Tito's Grown? Probably you are, right?
Yeah, I'm aware. It's I think it's on. Is it on Dawn? The label. It's,
Exactly. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Günther, you know Tito's Throne?
Yeah, sure. I had the chance to have it 3 times in my shop, but I didn't keep it for myself. I like it, but it's not my kind of music I collect, so I let it go.
So you're not 100% into the prog rock area, right?
No, it's not 100% my cup.
See, the Elvis guy really dislikes it. But every record is for everybody. Winston, on the other hand, love it. Santi, what's your take on Tito's Throne?
It's pretty cool. It's like fusion, folk, jazz. You can hear like the cornet playing is very folky, like of Mediterranean music.
Yeah, and the fun thing we heard when we heard I heard a little bit earlier is like the theme from a movie comes into it in this song at the end.
Oh yeah.
I'll try to jump a little bit so you can hear it because that's quite funny.
When I heard it first, I was like instantly, Thomas, what is the name of that song?
What is it? Help me.
La Locifrine.
Is it a cover version? This is a cover version, right? Did they say it's a cover version? Everybody knows dum 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 dum. Dum. What series was it? Come on, don't disappoint us.
Mission Impossible?
Yeah, please.
And here we have a winner.
No, it's your copy.
But this one is from 1970. What time did the Mission
68.
Impossible come out? 68.
I think 66. The first Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So it's so distinct. Like it's impossible that they weren't slightly inspired by it. But back then, it was not the big song that it is now.
Yeah. It never has been until the movies with Tom Cruise. Martin Landau never was that popular, although
the TV series was a cult TV series.
Yeah. Later on, of course. Yeah. The original is from Lalo Schifrin, who also did Bullet, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Yes,
right.
This one is in the shop, Winston. The first 2-3 records we show are in the shop right now. Thomas, which record? Yeah?
I would say, this one is the one we just heard is in the shop right now, but the one I'm showing you now will be in the shop tomorrow.
Okay.
But this is also the same area of music, but it's also a very rare record.
This is a very rare record. Yeah. Psych, right?
Yeah, I'll play a little bit from it.
Yeah.
The king flying in the sky. They were all completely startled, and they all dropped down their swords and threw away their bows and arrows, and they all ran, completely leaving the king on his own in the castle. So the good king went up to see the wicked king and made a peace treaty. The good king had settled this. He flew straight back to his own land to tell the good news to all the people. Very soon the story of the shoes and the shoemaker was being told over the whole country.
No, it's not that. Dave, you ever have had that record?
Someone has saved us from certain damnation.
My logo.
Someone has come to
I like my record.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
save our
Cool
lives
logo.
for us.
Yeah.
You can rely on Pi because they're pressing.
You always say that. I remember. You're very fond.
I like Pi records in general. They're a bit under they fly a little bit under the radar as well. Apart from the Kings, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Günther?
Yeah.
The Shoemaker? What's your take on it?
I loved the beginning, but the musical is too rock based for me.
It is,
it's
yeah.
solid. I know it's a classic, but we talk about my taste, and so
of course you're right.
Not my cup. A little bit too solid rock music.
Okay.
That's why I exactly love this. It's solid. It's a solid rock piece.
Here is our solid man.
Great. Really enjoy it.
I was Günther on this one.
Of course you are.
He's a
Can you hold up the jacket once more?
shoemaker. He's a shoemaker. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Shoemaker by Fire.
Great.
Günther and I woke up.
Yeah, it's one of those records where you never know where it goes. It's telling the stories between the tracks, and it's
I think that's what Günther meant when he said that it's very drug driven. I think that's what he meant. Right? Probably the members of the band also didn't know where it's going in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But come on,
really
bass music was the greatest. I mean, you never know where it's going.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
never know where it's going. Yeah, it's a fun listening, this one.
What's
and it's
the price range?
Excellent copy. Sorry?
What is the price range of this record in near mint condition?
700-800 euro.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all cheap heat here right now, yeah.
I have a cheap one next.
Next one is a cheap one. Yeah, give us a cheap one.
Next one is a cheap one, and it's a totally different style.
Okay.
It's I think it's like a 25 to 35 euro. But it's one of those tracks that I love playing out. It's so well produced and so well sounding, but in a totally different area. But you hear a little bit here now.
Nadine. Oh, so
I can make you happy.
good.
You may be doubtful sometimes, but I can reassure
Nadine,
the
you know this record?
that
know this record.
Then tell us a
I know
little
this
bit.
record. There were
Tell us
many.
a
We are starting new parts and maybe incorrect. There were many groups called Silk, and they were very good. This was soul group, and yeah, you can find also once again originals. These are very good and cheap to find.
Can't stop what I'm doing to you. Can't stop turning you on. Can't stop what I'm doing to you.
Intro time over. Dave is already. Dave is shoving his food. I say we might get back into this kind of stuff a little later, but maybe for now, let's get into Nigeria,
the world,
into Fela Kuti and the music, if you all agree.
What are you lining up first, Thomas? Then what have you got the intro? Oh, open and close on HMV. Well, EMI, but it's HMV. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
So you agree with this one as a starter?
Yeah, I'll agree with that as a starter. It's a good place to begin. I've got a little copy of it myself down here, which I'll show. But I've got
a legendary spare copy or your copy?
No spare. Unfortunately, no. Look, I'll show you. No spares of that. No spares. But it's yeah. I mean, look, all the fellas on HMV like this. Yeah, they're just such great records, and really hard to find. Really hard to find. Nice, but a great start. And this one's got a superb cover as well. It's got a great. The back cover's great as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
The picture there, you see.
Maybe for us people who are not that deep into Fela Kuti, when we talk about it, please tell us if this is an African copy or a British copy.
Yeah, this is an African copy. Yeah. So Fela, basically EMI Parlophone, they set up in Lagos. And we're recording African music, and a number of fellas' early records are put out on HMV Nigeria, of which this is one of. I think there's about 6 altogether that are on HMV, and there's the first LP did on Parlophone as well, and you know they're so good because they capture the essence of Fela in that really, you know, I sort of see Fela as having 2 really prolific state. It's the early stuff with HMV. Yeah. You know, I mean, he was recording from the late 1950s. You know, he was recording about 10 years. There was a lot of 7 inches and EPs before he put his first album out in 1968. So we're looking at this one. I think this is 71. Well, there we go. The best of Fela as well. Yeah, that's very, very cool.
That's the only 7 is. That's the only 7. That's all the old 7 inches, which was not on any albums.
Yeah. So and also, in fact, Thomas, his first album on Parlophone is actually also a compilation of his of 7s that he did on Parlophone. Yeah. And you're right. These a lot of the early albums are actually compilations of a lot of the 7 inches that were done the years beforehand. So yeah, we should have a listen.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Dave. Maybe Thomas, be so kind and be so nice and give us a little impression. Let's listen to some. I knew you wouldn't dance.
Oh my God, you have a work face, man. Oh God.
Amazing.
You know, Fela put out about 8 albums in 1971. 8 albums.
8 in 1 year.
Yeah, in 1 year. So think about this in terms of how prolific he was. You know, 8 albums in 1 year. Yeah. Is huge. I mean, think of other artists. No one would do that, but there's 8 albums.
Oh, there are some, Dave, but very few.
Nurse with Wound does that, Dave.
Oh, sorry.
Nurse with Wound would do that.
Well, there you go, you see. And look, let's look at the level of artists we're talking about here, right?
And there is mostly one song per side, so there were 16 songs a year.
Yeah.
So, but why did he put out so many records at that year, or did he do this in many years? In that
he had many ex-wives. Many.
He had 27 wives, but that was later. Yeah, that was. I think that was for legal reasons and obviously for fun. You know, he's like, and he had different days for them, didn't he? He had different. Everyone had a different day. So you had a month of different wives, basically. On
but
day.
Dave, what's so special about this? Don't you have that?
Me? Well, I think I would if I was in that position. Hey, you know.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this on another stream.
Yeah, but
it's important to look at this early phase. I mean, I was before we did the stream. I was sort of just refreshing myself about all of this and looking at what he did. And you know, Fela was in London between. You know, he came to London to study medicine, right? Yeah. But he ended up going to the Trinity College of Music and to study music, and he took up the trumpet. And this was in 1958, yeah. And he was in London for 4 years before he went back to Lagos in 1963. And you know, he was releasing loads of records before all these albums started coming out. And there's loads of rare. He had his own record label called RK Ransom Kuti Records, yeah, just sevens, yeah. And I mean, he put out loads of music just constantly. So it's sort of maybe not such a surprise that when we got into this sort of early 70s period, you know, the albums came flooding. Yeah, so.
But Dave, Michael was asking the reason why he had such a prolific output, and I think that one of the reasons is political, obviously.
Of course, yeah, of course. He became very politically engaged. He went to LA and he got involved with a lady that was involved with the Black Panthers and became very
Sandra Isidore.
Sorry?
Sandra Isidore.
That's it, so Sandra, and became very politically aware, and that massively, and that was in 1969. Yeah, that happened. And it made him massively aware politically, which and changed his whole direction of his music from that point onwards. So Stunty, you're totally right that all came in from that point. And some of this is actually captured in the early age. There's a record, Fela, which is the LA sessions. And you know, you can imagine for him how he was getting influenced then over there and becoming part of that and sort of realizing his direction from that point onwards.
Which record out of this period?
I'll show you. There's one,
and would say this
is the Nigerian release of it. This is Fela, but this is all the LA sessions when he was in LA, and this is where this happened and where everything changed for him. And this again is very. I mean, this was released. I think this is 1970. This album, yeah. This is a touch earlier. And I mean, you can just tell by the cover. Such a beautiful cover. This one.
Is it a silkscreen cover, Dave?
No, it's not silkscreen. It's a printed cover. It looks a bit like a silkscreen, but it's just a normal. Actually, no, 71. Sorry, 71. I'll just show you again the label.
Yeah, please, Thomas. Do you have that record too?
This one is very rare.
Can you give us a little impression of it?
Thomas, I'll love it if you dig that out.
Yeah.
Thomas, try.
Hey Dave, which era was from Fela better, before or after the?
Well, look, you associate Fela with the 70s, so this is 71, and throughout the 70s and particularly the mid 70s, That's when he was doing some of his most politically charged albums, like Zombie on Coconut. But also, you go a bit later and you think like albums on Calicut Estate, like Coffin. Yeah, there we go. Look, Zombie. So like Minty's got that. Yeah, very important. And Zombie was reference to the soldiers that we used, because he set up his Calicut Estate in Lagos, which was basically his commune. He had his studio, everybody involved in the band. He had a huge band. They all lived there, yeah. And can you imagine what it was like there? It must have been amazing. But the government hated it, so they regularly raided it using soldiers. And Zombie is kind of his thing, saying all these soldiers, they were zombies, yeah. And the government hated him for that. You know, there's a story.
I can imagine. And if those guys hate you at that time, this is not a really cool thing, right?
No, well, I mean, for him, that must have been such a creative hub in Lagos. Fela Kuti's Calicut Estate there, and that all going on, and then the government hating it and him putting out all these records that, were against them. They're obviously going to try and crack down on him. And he suffered for it. I mean, his mother died. They killed his mother. They threw her out of a window.
Okay. Well, they killed him too, Dave. He also was murdered. He ended up murdered, right?
Well, they say he died of AIDS. It is in 97. And he had AIDS and complications and heart failure. But, the way the world is, who knows, right?
Yeah, right.
He changed his name. He was called Fela Ransom Kuti to begin with, and he changed his name, Anakalupo Kuti, because Anakalupo, it means he keeps death in his pocket, basically. So he was such a strong individual, so important. One of the most important characters in music of the 20th century, without a doubt. He's right up there. And that's why, people are getting more, and it keeps coming, more interested in him. And it's only going to get more. So, yeah.
Give us some Kuti, Thomas. Let's listen to a little music. Is it the record Dave just showed or a different one?
No, I couldn't find it. But I'll look while we listen to this one.
Okay. That's the one Günther just showed also. Okay. Günther, what is your copy? Is it also an original African British pressing? What pressing do you have, Günther?
No, this is just on Knitting Factory, a repress from 2014. It's really cheap. It's not available anymore. I think it's out of print, but it's also with a nice insert. It's around 25 euros.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well worth buying. The original's on Coconut. That's what the label looks like.
And I bet what we are listening now to is also from Thomas, an original.
Great sounding as well.
On Coconut. Okay, explain a little bit about the Coconut label. I've never heard about the Coconut.
An African label. There was quite a few Fela records on it.
Yeah.
A great Nigerian label, So, there's a few really cool Fela records on Coconut. Nice to get them with nice sleeves like this. You see, they're not the easiest things to find clean.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
nice copy. Look, I'm really going into my personal collection here. See, this is an original Nigerian, and look at that; it's like it's new. So,
give me your address. I would like to upgrade my Fela Kuti collection.
So, and this is Thomas. Thomas is your same pressing, same record.
Same pressing on Coconut.
Nice.
Now let's listen to it.
Yeah, about the music quickly. I just wanted to say that I guess that in a way, like maybe Jimi Hendrix, there's very few artists like when you listen to his music, you really feel in the music that he's making it like there's no tomorrow, and that's one of the great appeal in his music to me.
Okay.
I also think that he's one of those artists you instantly recognize who it is. Like somebody mentioned James Brown, and when you have an Elvis track, it's Elvis. And I think with Fela, it's the same. You kind of hear that it's his music.
Yeah, Haino as well.
Haino.
We've got to give a shout out to his backing band as well. when he set up the Cooler Libitos, the Cool Cat. There were two versions out there. There was the early one in London, but then the next one when he went back to Lagos, and he got Tony Allen on drums and the rhythm section. And you got to remember, they were the driver of this style. And, you know, Fela's seen as the godfather. You know, he invented Afrobeat. But having that backing band, that rhythm section that's so consistent, so strong throughout all these records, gives it the whole feel and the whole style, which is so good, yeah?
I'll just go and grab some batteries because the connection from the record player just disappeared. So if you can talk for a few minutes.
By the way, Thomas, maybe also this vinyl EU record player thing is gone. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh, you know, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we all have from here on.
We take it from here on for time.
We take it from there. Be back in 2.
Okay, Dave. Fela Kuti, now you need to improvise a bit.
Okay, maybe I don't need to improvise.
But I think when it comes to Fela Kuti, we all could lay back now for an hour.
Let's go back to the start because I know Thomas hasn't got these, so this will be a nice little fill-in, because we got to go back to where he, you know, his family were very well-to-do. They were middle upper class Nigerian. They sent him to London to study, right? So let's look at that in the late 50s. He was sent to London, and he decided not to study medicine. He decided to go and study music. And I'm going to show you his first record, which I've got 2 copies of.
Wow!
This one. This is a tough one to get, right?
No, this is more than tough. Yeah. This is a joke. This record. So I've got. There's actually 2 versions of it. So I'll show you the both. They're both on Parlophone. Now, when I first got it took me years to get hold of these. Now, there's 2 versions. There's one with the sort of Parlophone label that you'll be familiar with. The sort of the classic black and yellow Parlophone logo. Yeah, and as you can see, that one, there's no sort of, it says the EMI Nigeria Limited at the side. Now, you know, I was curious because when I was like looking at this, I was thinking that kind of looks like a British pressing to me. But then there's another version of it, which is this one. Now, this one, when I first got this, I thought this is a bootleg, but it's not. Yeah, this is like a proper near mint first Fela Kuti album. This is something impossible.
And what year are we talking here?
1968.
Wow!
But it is genuine.
55 years ago. Yeah.
This is actually, I mean, people, unless you show it, people wouldn't believe you. It's that rare. Now, this one's different. I'll show you why it's different. There's 2 versions. So this one, look, it's silver, the Parlophone, yeah? So let me get it into focus.
Yeah.
This one has got, there we go. So it's silver, but if you notice at the bottom, it says made in Nigeria. And it's got the Yoruba High Life little bit of text below the matrix on the left side. So this one, what I found out is that Parlophone set up a pressing plant in Nigeria, in Lagos, in 1962, and actually both of these were pressed by Parlophone in Nigeria. Yeah, and this is Fela's first album, and it's a compilation of all of his he made a lot of 7 inches between 63 and 68 in Nigeria on Parlophone, and this was a compilation of those. And I mean that one, the condition on this one is unbelievable. You know, I actually thought it was a fake, but it's not, and it was found here in the UK, and it's pretty crazy, that. And
where did you get this copy, Dave?
Don't ask. It's just a private collection, and it was. I think what happened was maybe some copies were sent over here to the UK, and it just turned up in a collection on a shelf. It was obviously kept in the cabinet and untouched. It looks like they reissued this. You see, and I thought it would be a reissue, but it's not.
Yeah, I was about to ask: are there enough reissues of Fela's albums?
Yeah.
So knitting, there's a great label, Knitting Factory, that have been comprehensive in their reissuing. I mean, this first album has been reissued. Been reissued, yeah. So you can actually buy a cheap reissue. Obviously, getting an original of it is thousands. So you know, but the Knitting Factory have done reissues of all the later albums, and they're great. You know, and they get really good people to sort of do the curation. They had Idris Elba, the last one they did, because Idris Elba's a huge, you know, Fela fan, and he did all the curation on it. So it's like super good. In fact, oh, there you go, Thomas. Thomas is showing the. Is that the reissue, Thomas? Record Store Day, yeah.
50th anniversary, yeah.
Oh my God. So now I muted you, Thomas. Excuse me. No. A Record Store Day reissue. Okay.
Like Knitting Factory, which was a club in New York, like when they relaunched their label like that, it's the complete studio recordings of Fela Kuti that they reissued.
Yeah, that's really good though. They were comprehensive in doing everything. So that's the best way. You know, these Nigerian originals do not turn up very often, and if they do, they're trashed. That's the problem. So Knitting Factory is a really good entry point to get hold of all of this amazing recorded material from Fela. So yeah, that's
Günther, one question for you, if I might. How is the situation here in Germany when it comes to Fela Kuti originals? Like like everywhere in the world, or are we in a good position, bad position? Where is the best country to be when it comes to Fela Kuti? Great Britain?
Might be, yeah. I had the chance a few years back. I bought a collection of 2,000 really common jazz records like Yapo, Enya, ECM. And the best thing of this collection were $50 brands and 50 Fela Kutis.
Nice.
So, but this was my only option to buy them to resell. I now hate myself that I mostly put all for sale. I kept, I think, 1 or 2 for my collection. But I think I get closer to Dave now. We get friends and we will share some records with each other. So you don't need to.
you give him some Sunras and he gives you some.
Oh no, Mike, no, sorry, you misunderstood. Dave gives me something. I give him love. Yeah.
Love and air, yeah. Let's see how that works out.
I think to come to the point, originals are impossible in Germany to find because there was no community, there was no import or something like this. You can be really happy to find the UK pressing. Some are also heavily pressed or repressed in France. That is possible, or in the Netherlands. There is one that is really famous for Germany, on Her Zu with Ginger.
Okay. That's a great album, by the way.
Again, Her Zu.
Yeah, so this Minty, that's a brilliant album. So the one with Ginger Baker live is just such a great. You know, Ginger Baker went over to Lagos, and some of the music that they came, you know, Ginger Baker, legendary British drummer, Cream, you know, brilliant drummer. That album is one of the best albums. It really is. Hands down.
This is possible to find in Germany. It's not cheap when it is in top condition because it was heavily played, like Beatles records or something like this. Okay. It's also from this area, and there is also a cheaper repress of this from France. From Holland. This is from the Netherlands. This is around 35 euros in near mint condition. The German one.
The Her Zu version, Günther, how much would that be? Roughly?
60 to 80 euros.
Okay. Yeah, but manageable compared to the other stuff.
Yes, definitely. And we might talked about this before. The pressing is amazing. Sometimes maybe even if you compare it to a Nigerian pressing. So
okay. We talked a lot about those African records, didn't we, Dave?
The best countries to find these records, as you asked, Michael, you have to think about politics, and then that would be the UK, France, Portugal, and Italy. Like that's where you
They were big in France. Fela was huge in France, and you had the African, you know, a lot of Africans settling in France. And it's interesting that a lot, Fela Kuti records, the places they turn up, a bit in London, obviously in Africa, but London, France, but also interestingly, Fela had
in Italy, Dave, as well.
in Berlin, and there's actually some great, concerts and footage, from Berlin. He did a concert. I think it's 1982 in Berlin, and you've got to look that up.
Just a short note. I have to leave. Sorry. Bye, all of you.
Günther, thanks for joining us and have fun at
Next
your
time. Thanks all of you. Bye.
Bye, Günther.
And Dave, you have also to know that Tony Allen lived a long part of his life in France. There's a lot of Tony Allen records that were first released on the French label of I forget the name.
There was Tony Allen. I've got one. I've got two, but I couldn't find the other one. But I've got his first album. In fact, let me just dig it out here. I've got it here. I'll find it. Here we go. Jealousy. Yeah. So this is on Sound Workshop Records, Nigeria. I'll show you the sleeve. Again, I'm so pleased that I've got these with decent sleeves to show, because normally they're trash. But look, see this Sound Workshop. So Tony Allen was Fela's drummer from the late from the 63, right the way through. And look at this. What a great album, that Tony Allen, Jealousy. This is 1970. Let's have a look at the date there. 1973, maybe.
Tony Allen is, in a way, you could say that he's to Fela Kuti what Archie Shepp was to John Coltrane. He was basically the ambassador, the legacy holder, like the one who kept the word alive, even when Fela was still alive. But yeah.
Oh, Justin, yeah. I thought you would like that. I know you keep picking out my African records, and you haven't seen this one yet. But that was Tony Allen's first record with Fela, on there as well. But yeah, it's very early, very, very rare, not easy to find.
Dave, when did you buy the majority of your Fela Kuti records, and when did you buy the last one?
I bought the last one probably about 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I probably bought the first one about 30 years ago.
Okay.
Wow. And Fela's not something you can do in a day. It's not something you can do in a week. Fela is something you do in a lifetime. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not something. Of course. I was very lucky once. I remember it was about 15 years ago. And a collection of about 10 originals came up in Austria, of all places. And it was my birthday, and I thought, I'm going to treat myself. And I bought 10. I bought all his Fela. It's about 10 of them. And, in the context of Fela, that's not that much. I mean, he made over 80 albums. Yeah. But 10 albums in one go in nice condition was good. I spent a lot of money, but they were all lovely, and they all came from the same guy. So... But
I like this question from Captain Phoenix. What?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe for starters, 3 Fela Kuti albums.
Well, look, I'll show you some of his most. We've already looked at Zombie. Yeah. The thing is, I also look at the albums which have sort of. See, there's a really good label called Creole in the UK, which were the first. They did the first versions of some of his albums, like Zombie and like Shakira. Look, I'll show you this one. So the albums that I think are amazing. So you've got this one's very famous. Expensive Shit, yeah. And this is to do with him. And the reason it's called Expensive Shit is because there's the famous story about Fela. He had some hash, and he had to swallow it. Because the police were after him, or the soldiers. So he had to swallow his hash, and he had to shit it out. Yeah, and the whole theme of this album is expensive shit that it had his hash. So I think that's quite funny. But this is one of his most famous albums, along with Zombie.
Might have to do with the jacket, right? But that's only an educated guess.
Sorry?
Might have to do with the jacket that it's so popular.
Look at that.
Yeah.
In fact,
Of course, I already looked at it.
I'll follow that up with this one. Now I've got this copy I've got of this is unbelievable. I mean, this for me is one of his best albums. I've got a complete pristine, like as new Nigerian pressing, yeah, of Shakara. Yeah. Now this is one of his best albums. I mean, the tracks on this are this, different level, and I can't believe I managed to get one in this condition. Like, because it's not been touched. It's got the original. If you have a little look there, the sticker, the hype, Sound of Music, Lagos. Look at that. That was the distributor sticker. You see?
Yeah, and it has a telephone number. Did you ever try this number and try to get more copies?
Original Nigerian paper inner sleeve. Always a good thing.
Polylines or not polylines?
And look, this is an EMI record.
It is.
See? EMI.
Thomas has it too.
See, we should put this on because Thomas, we must play this. For me,
I think Thomas is still at it, Dave. He's talking to someone.
In fact, I'm going to go. So see the hater. What I'm going to go with what he wants to see. So why Black Man They Suffer? Yeah. So here we go. Let's do this as a list. There we go. So that's the number one.
Jacket again. Wow.
Original Nigerian pressing. Yeah. But look at the cover. With Ginger Baker. Just have a little look there.
Thomas is still with us, although he's trying to see on the telephone.
Yeah, but Thomas, I know you got that, but the condition on mine is joke. Look at the original Nigerian inner sleeve.
Oh.
Original Nigerian inner sleeve in unbelievable condition. And then the record itself. This was originally going to be released on EMI, but they decided not to release it, because it was too... well, I mean, you make up your own mind. Look, why Black Man They Suffer, yeah? And EMI decided they didn't want to put it out, so he had to put it out separately, yeah? You see.
Wow, the silver-orange combo on the label is amazing.
Yeah. You like that, Stunty, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And again, yeah, I mean, that condition on that one is... it's actually scary to look at. How good... Oh, so the next one on that list, yeah? Here we go. I've got two versions of this. So Rofo Fight. This is a double album on Joffrebo, yeah. And this again, this is the one I've got. I've got a sleeve here, original sleeve, but I've got my own copy here. A fantastic album, yeah.
How disappointing! There's some ringwear on it, Dave. Like, shame on you.
This one's better. I might, in fact, Stunty. Thanks for pointing it out. I might just swap them round. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a good idea. I didn't check that. I've got a spare OG sleeve there. So and look at the pictures inside.
Yeah.
It's just so cool, so cool. I mean that, and you got the original line. Look at there at the top of the lineup. Africa 70 personnels. Yeah. Tony Allen, lead drummer, and again, Stunty meant Tony Allen was so integral to the entire Africa 70 setup. He was the main man.
Dave, Bodo Köppen said that you don't have, or one should not forget about Mr. Big Mouth.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the trumpetist for Fela. Yeah, Tunde Williams. Yeah, nice little double out. Look, two on Joffrebo, and again, I love the label on this.
Are these some records where the master tapes still exist? I don't know. Is it no?
The problem is, I see. This is an interesting story because when the Calacuta State got raided, apparently they burnt his studio, including loads of his master tapes. So I can't tell you what the situation is with those in regards to that. I mean, obviously Knitting Factory have put lots of stuff out, so it's possible that some of the tapes survived. But hey, what can we say?
The tape would be in terrible shape anyways, so it wouldn't be much help.
You know, I mean, I don't know whether they dubbed or what they did. So it's a very difficult one. It's a very
There will probably, I would, it's just an educated guess. There were probably UK transfers of these tapes when they were doing the UK pressings of these. They probably had to go with that. That would be the most logical way, since all of these records were issued in or distributed in the UK.
Yeah, that's true. And we got to think about so you know, like Decca Aphrodisia. So when we get into that slightly later period, sort of the later 70s. In fact, I'll keep going with showing them because I've got literally a, you know.
But also to Peter's point, it's not like this recording or hi-fi in the beginning, so it wouldn't matter much.
This one's really special to me because I this is the only copy I've ever seen of it. And again, this is Rofo fight, but it's the Ghanaian copy, yeah. But the sleeve on it, and I've shown this once before, but I'll show it again now because it's the Fela special. It's like an inner sleeve.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this: when you touch it and move it looks more like an inner sleeve. Right?
No, this is an inner sleeve, but look at the condition of it for a Ghanaian original. This is not possible to get an African piece of paper like this from the early 60s. Yeah, well, this would be it's 70s, so early 70s.
Yeah.
But this turned up like this in this condition, which is unbelievable. And this is the Ghanaian version of Rofo fight, which again is a lovely look at that for a label.
Here are upcoming rumors that you own a pressing plant in Nigeria.
Hey, Jeremy, I wish I did. I wish I could. You know what I mean? Having all this stuff, but this is about time and patience, like all record collecting is. You know.
I will tell you about that thing, though. It will be increasingly more difficult, unfortunately, for pressing plant to be able to exist in Africa because of climate change. Because that would mean that right now there's probably 8 months in Central Africa where you can't press vinyl records because it's too hot. It's just like nowadays it's starting to be a problem in Portugal, in Italy, in Spain. So yeah, that was almost a miracle they could do that.
Okay.
But Dave, it's not just about patience record collecting these days. It's also a little bit about money, right?
Well, that's the thing that's crept in recent years. But even back then, trying to buy these original Felas, these were not cheap records to buy. But now, you know, I've looked at African records have always been very niche. But the prices have gone double, tripled since the last time I looked.
Wow.
And you looked last week, right?
Well, the thing is, they're heading in this direction that you can't. The problem is they do not turn up often at all, and if they do, they're absolutely trash. They're like I always say about. I've got my joke about African records. Like the sleeves look like they've been used like floor tiles, like they've just been walked all over. And generally, that's the way that they are. So when you get one that's got a lovely sleeve, that's you're probably going to be in a good place with what you find inside. You know, so
I've once seen a Zamrock record where the cover was just a tiny little piece of paper left of the original cover, a tiny little piece. And the record itself was so trash you could barely play it, and it was €500.
And it was VG++.
Yeah,
for an African record. Thomas, how are we?
I think. Can you invite me again with the other camera?
Yeah, you have to come up, and then I put you up. But I can send you a link. But you have it.
I think I'm up here. Oh,
I don't see you.
No.
No. Here you are. Here you are. But now we might have an echo. Perfect.
You have to mute the other channel. Yeah.
That was a nice sample.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just check if there's music now.
We try now. We try.
Yeah.
Let there be music. Show us the record we are listening to. Thank you.
Zombie.
How strict are they with the licensing when it comes to Fela? Do we have to be careful, or is it okay? What do you think, guys and girls?
Having a Fela party, it doesn't matter. He would like it. He'd be happy.
I agree.
Try to explain that to YouTube. It doesn't matter. He would like it.
He would like it, exactly. Fela is on our side.
If we still keep on talking in between the music, then
Yeah, that's what we have to do.
But we have to do some talking in between.
Yeah.
You don't want to get suspended. That's not nice. Your thing will be down for 2 minutes.
I have a question for Thomas and Dave, because I remember in the 90s, at least in France, it was very popular. Like Afrofunk was very popular, and we used to talk about Afrofunk. And it seems to me that nowadays we don't really say the word Afrofunk anymore, because like it's like almost like Fela has taken over that whole genre for people who are getting into that. Did you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think he got a little bit like Bob Marley got into the reggae. Like he's like a figure of that style of music. But I think for collectors, it's a huge area of good records.
Yeah, that was my point, because now we can talk for hours and hours about Fela Kuti with you two, but it's in a way it's also just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, it's Matt Stunty. This area. This is one of the deepest rabbit holes there is out of there. You know, this area. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, Afrobeat. Sorry, I said Afrofunk. Piece of vinyl.
Afrobeat. Yeah, I mean, it is. You know, African music. I know. You know, we got to look at South Africa as well. Some of the records over there, it's like a hidden treasure trove in Africa. And there's people that are hitting this, and they're mining it. You know, they're mining it. I know there's a guy in the UK. I see him on eBay, and he's sourcing all these mad African records and putting them up. He's obviously got connections over there, but you know, just think of it. It's such a huge world that we don't, apart from this sort of higher level, we're not really. You know, there's a much deeper level to it. Yeah.
Okay, let's listen a little bit more, because music came too short so far. Nadine, you with funk and soul and this is your alley.
This is full down my alley.
Thomas, when did you start to collect Fela Kuti records and Nigerian records? When did you start with that? Also, like Dave, decades ago?
Yeah. Dave started 30 years ago, so he has much better conditions, but it will take 30 years to do a proper collection, I think. I might have collected for 15 years.
Yeah. Okay, 15 years.
So mine is...
I caught the bug early, you know, and I caught on. I got the album Everything Scatter on Coconut, and it just blew my mind. You know, in fact, I'll quickly show that Everything Scatter. This was the first Fela I ever got. And I put it on, and I was like, what? You know, I just thought this music was so mind-blowing. Yeah.
So that was your very first Fela Kuti.
Yeah, this one.
This record began.
Yeah, that copy? Was it that copy?
Yeah, this copy. This one.
Okay. Nice.
30 years ago. Yeah, on Coconut. And I was like, that was the one I was just like, what is this music? You know,
Do you
when
still put them
grabs
on?
you, it just connects with you. And I was like, I need more of this. I need more of this. And that was it. That was the start.
But how did you get aware of it? Was it an accident, a coincidence, or did somebody tell you about it? How was it?
It was a little bit. Well, don't always the best things happen via accident. Yeah,
Of course.
I was into funk, and I liked a bit of funk music, and this I was listening to that, and then I heard this sort of and jazz. I was listening to jazz like Miles Davis, and then I heard this, and it was like a combination of that sort of jazz with funk, but with that the deep African beats behind it, but a very tight rhythm section. And that changed it. You know, it just immediately connected with my mind. And I thought, brilliant, you know. So, like with a lot, in fact, I just want to mention pieces of vinyl. Anti-Ballast are brilliant. Yeah, you can get Anti-Ballast albums. They're like the new style, but doing the music is amazing. It's Fela, it's like Africa 70, but recently, and they check their albums out.
But Dave, about Michael's question, we have to say also that back in the 90s, Fela was not obscure.
He wasn't obscure. No, he wasn't obscure. He was known. You're right. And so it was kind of easier to become aware of his other music. Yeah. And so I started to, you know, how we all do. You research and you listen. You find out his other albums. And back then in the 90s, we didn't have the internet, so it was a little bit of a different process, you know. But I was always looking out for them at record fairs and stuff, and then you get one or two more, and then you know how it is, don't you? You start to get into it, and then suddenly that's it. You're on your journey, you know.
Thomas, are we back for more Fela Kuti music?
Yeah. I'm a little bit behind with all the talking. I tried to listen while I was trying to solve it. But I'll play some more Fela Kuti, and I can show some of the covers I have if you want to do.
Yeah, great.
Doing the next minute.
But you also developed a certain style, right? So this chaotic, small, comic-like cover art. Yeah, that style.
I can't remember the name of the guy, but a guy came to him with the first drawing of one of those covers, and he wanted to sell to him. And Fela Kuti got so in love with the cover. He said, "I just want it. How much do you want for it?" And he said, "I don't want anything." And he gave him a free entrance for all his concerts forever, instead of getting money for the cover. But he loved it, and they kept on working together. So I think they did 26 covers together. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's why they look a bit the same, all those.
Yes, the breakup. Okay. But your copy is not so helpful from Germany.
There's one thing we haven't said though yet about Fela, which I think is one of the reasons of his the uniqueness and the fascination with him, which you could say there's something similar between him and Sun Ra, like with the amount of records, the do-it-yourself aspect of it, and the fact that he's known as the singer and the trumpet player, but he's also the keyboard player. Okay. And the Elektra, if I remember correctly, the RMI Elektra keyboard, which is the one he plays the most since the early 70s. As you could hear at the beginning of the previous track and from other tracks, this very minimalist electronic sound, very rough, is really, I think, a large part of the appeal for people like Dave, as we grew up in the early 90s, techno, electro, and all that.
Well, stalemate.
And he just won't stop showing records from Fela. It's unbelievable.
We are almost half through it. It's great. Yeah.
Look, with all the wives on the front.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, I think we've got to just quickly go back to this cover and talk about Fela's 27 wives. Because look, there they all are. You've got Fela there, and then wives everywhere else. Yeah. So it's like kind of, look, I'll get it. Look at that.
My
Fela,
70 wives. Okay, I see.
Fela, wives everywhere.
Did you know that he got arrested 200 times, Fela Kuti? I don't know if you already talked about that.
200
by the government.
Yeah, he was arrested 200 times because he went in and out of jail, but 2 of them times were serious, like for I think for years.
For years.
Thomas, when they raided his Calicut estate with 1,000 soldiers, and they fatally injured his mother. He did an album, Coffin for Head of State, where he delivered his mother's coffin, his mother's coffin to the barracks where the head of the army was, and say, "Look, that's my mother."
Wow.
That's what we're talking about here. I mean, it's such a important, important statement. He was suppressed. They hated him.
Because they couldn't control him, right? Yeah.
I mean, you think about where things like punk. I'm just thinking out loud here, but things like punk, anti-establishment.
Yeah. Okay.
Fela was one of the original anti-establishment.
But Dave, let's consider too probably that the establishment in Nigeria was quite different than the British establishment.
You're right, Michael. Corrupt,
Ruthless. So it's not that he was incontrollable. It's just that he had a voice. Everyone hated the government, but he had a voice.
Yeah, and he was able to articulate it via his music, via his records.
This record about his mother is not an homage. It's communication. It's like spreading the news, because all the media was controlled. So that was the only way to bring out the news.
Exactly.
Yeah. He had one song where he announced all the people from the different parties that did something wrong. He put everything in one song.
So you put the records now on the OBC, or this your collection?
This is my collection, but I have I think I have 10. I have 2 copies of, so those I'll put up.
Fela Kuti weeks at the OBC in a way.
So let me know. I'm going on the side and press refresh.
And you have that coffin, that coffin album twice.
One of my favorite covers, by the way, guys. Look.
Wow.
Before I jump like monkey, give me banana. And the Africa 70. Look at the cover of it.
And as this, Dave, allow me one question, please. As this coffin jacket with the coffin of his mother seems to be quite special, What do you have to be prepared for when you want to buy this record as an original?
No, it's not that because it's later. That's on Calacuta. It's not like the early HMV ones. I mean, those are like the Fela, and those early ones. Yeah. They're very expensive, but maybe.
But this was from 78, right?
Yes.
Sorry.
Was it from 78 or 76?
I think this is 70. It's late 70s. Yeah, probably 78.
Yeah. Okay.
Late.
Yeah, you can find that one.
I'm a big stickler. You know, I like my inner sleeves. Yeah, look at that. Again, beautiful original Nigerian inner sleeve here, and I love getting a clean Nigerian inner sleeve. So, but this is on Calacuta Records, which was his own label. So I'll just show you the label as well. There we go, number 3. So this would be very late. So yeah, probably 78. I think. I don't know off the top of my head. 78.
So how much do you think you have to pay for this?
A very clean one is more, but maybe 300-400 euros. But for one that's not, the thing is that you can find a G one probably cheap, but to get one that's nice, you have to pay the money.
Yeah. As usual.
As usual.
As usual. Cheers.
Is that tea, Nadine? Is that tea you're drinking with?
Yeah, it's Bacardi Pina Colada tea.
Tea. I like it. I like it.
Oh, hey, are they both Thomas? Come on, you've got 2 of those.
Yeah, I'll put one up on the OBC.
Wow.
I've only got 1.
No, I have 2.
Oh, come on! This is the best of, Thomas. This is like in a cheaper box, right? This has to be. Come on.
This is a best of, but it's of his 7 inches, which is not. It's before he made any albums, so it's early stuff. So this best of is from 1971.
What the fuck?
Hey, nobody cares about that. Put it on the OBC for a couple euros. Just.
I'll see what I can do.
No, Peter, you find it and you put it on your shop for a few euros.
Yes, when I find it.
Sorry.
You can buy it expensively from me and then put it up cheap on.
That's actually, hey Thomas, that's actually a really rare album. That one. It took me a very long time to get one of those.
Yeah. It's also when I saw it the second time, I just need to buy it again.
This
That's
is it's called the Best of Fela. There's 2 of them, so I'll show you. There's 2. So early on HMV, they did this one, and they also did this one. And this was the budget special. This is really hard to get hold of. This took me 15 years to find a copy with a decent cover. And this is more like a normal ringware.
But this is a near mint condition for this kind of record, right?
Nadine, you are totally right that the scale changes when you talk about African records. So this is like near mint for African.
Michael.
Very rare record.
I would say, though, that if someone here wants to start a Fela Kuti collection of originals in good conditions, the best advice I can give you is wait for Thomas and Dave to die.
Come on.
Yeah, that was a stunty recommendation. I would just say wait what's going on in the OBC and start there. Don't wait for that.
There are only 3 copies available on the market from the Best of Fela, and only 1 is VG.
That's my point. That's my point, Peter.
Wow.
Like, just imagine how much room there is if you were to start to be like a really completist of Fela Kuti and you want the originals in good conditions. Like, there's room for maybe 5 people in the world for the next 10 years.
That's true, Stunty. And you know what we always said? Remember, when they say, "Oh, Beatles, those originals," give us some money, and you have a complete Beatles first pressing collection. I would say within a week, if you have enough money.
I've got a funny thing. I'd say Beatles. They're like someone said to me, they're like vermicelli, like rice compared to Fela Kuti records. Do you know what I mean? They're like chips. Yeah. They're like they're easy compared to this. This is the tough stuff. Yeah. This is the stuff that takes long to find. Yeah. And you won't. You'll just get them, but they'll be. You don't get them nice.
Thomas, give us some music.
you want to hear something tough to find, and I think maybe we should go a little bit out of away from Fela Kuti, but people who are inspired by Fela Kuti.
Yes.
And I'll show you this one.
Nice.
You can see the condition is. You'll never find one in better condition than this.
Near mint.
You're aware of this record, Dave?
I don't, but I'm waiting to listen to it. I'm excited.
Me too.
It's got a great.
I always play this if I play some African stuff. It's funky as. It's one of my favorite albums, and they have 4 good tracks on it. But I'll play a little bit here.
1, 2, 3, go! Hey, hey, hey! No, 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 hey! Hey, hey, hey! Hey, hey!
What year are we talking about? You know when did this record came out?
73, 74.
I can't remember. I can
Not
see.
very important.
1970, I think.
1970. Okay, give us some more. That was really cool.
That had a real good vibe to it, didn't it? It's like really.
Yeah.
It has a perfect vibe.
Yeah.
Supernatural. Like it's really
Why, oh, why? Please tell me why you don't love me no more. Hey, hey. Try.
And I can see somebody said it was 1978. That's totally true. It's just written small here and it's turning around, but it's 1978.
Does anybody of you know Geraldo Pino from Nigeria? Dave, Stunty, Nadine, Peter.
Thomas, no.
No.
Thomas has records of his.
And then Thomas is off.
No, we talked about it earlier. That's why.
But there, look at him.
Here we are. Careful. One
I recognise the cover on the
red one we played before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's hear something. Let's have a party. Exactly.
Just give me a second.
Of course.
It's funny because that's the one with the black cover. It almost looks like the the guy from Suicide. What's his name, Dave? Not Martin Reb, the other one. Yeah, anyway.
God. I recognise the covers on those albums. 2 of those albums, I've seen them. The black one. Yeah, so I didn't know the name. I didn't associate, but like we say, it's the picture, and then you go, "Oh yeah, I've seen that."
Geraldo Pino. But they look different, don't they, Thomas? Are those different versions?
Yeah. There's one with tape and one without tape.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Oh, it says boogie. It says boogie fever. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the famous. I know that.
Wow.
Yeah, but look at the jacket once more. I mean, this is brilliant, isn't it? With the handcuffs and wow. You can see
and the last one here.
Let's have a party.
Get used to this, pieces of vinyl. Get used to this.
This one I'm looking for. This is a reissue. I only have I have the record, but not the cover. But and
Okay.
it's like a
Poor
fair
you.
copy. Yeah, I'm looking for this one. OG. This guy, Pino, he went to America and got influenced by James Brown. So just give me a second to find the track.
Of course. Take your time. We just talk to Nadine right now. Nadine, how are you?
I'm fine. I have my pina colada.
Oh, you have
tea.
your pina colada. Okay. That's great. Of course, we forgot Dave. Dave, are you drinking a beer tonight?
Yeah, I've ruined dry January. Like, you know, when you're not drinking January.
Okay.
By having a Neon Raptor. This is a really nice barrel-aged peanut butter beer.
Oh my God.
Peanut butter, chocolate, and caramel imperial stout.
No wonder that the Empire isn't what it has been.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's 13.5%.
Wow. Wow.
And thanks
So
to a
good.
little shout out to the big Phil for sorting the cans out, because he knows who he is. And the I mean, beers like this, they don't. It's a serious.
It does, it really does. That's how different opinions are. That beer sounds delicious.
Breakfast of King Lawyer. You would like the breakfast stout. Yeah, the breakfast stout.
Cheers.
She is drinking too. What are you drinking? Wine out of the bottle, like
It's almost finished. That's why.
Just you got to go and get another one. Dunty, go and open the next bottle. Yeah. Oh look, you don't much about the ball. Ah, lovely.
Yeah, and wine tastes always the best out of the bottle, right?
Does it?
Lovely.
No, of course not.
It depends how long it has been open, though.
Oops.
Not drinking anything. I'm in my alcohol-free and sugar-free month. It's pretty hard.
Day.
Day.
Okay, Thomas is preparing. I think
Ready?
he's good to go.
Everyone fighting for
Nice. Really nice.
Yeah, you can have the feeling it's a little bit James Brown feeling, and later I think in this track he goes down and stop the music and.
But he's also in the lineage of Fela Kuti, right? Or isn't he at all? Because
No, he is. He's the beat behind it, the rhythm. But he wants to be James Brown, but with the African beats behind it and that Afro style. And what a great combination it is that comes out there. It's brilliant.
And he sounded like Fela Kuti, but he didn't want to sound like him. So he went to America and listened to James Brown, and this was what came out of it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It sounded like he was recording in the back room of a bar or something, and there's an audience around it dancing and like.
Yeah, it is a live session. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show the record once more, Thomas, please?
I am from Ghana. You are from Freetown. I am from
It's crazy how much mess I can make here without
can imagine.
playing anything.
Nice.
1972.
Nice. If you have a hand free, put up the volume a little bit if possible.
Africa, 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 Africa. I am from Ghana. You are from Freetown. I am from Lagos. You are from Kenya. What does it matter?
I like that one.
Yeah, he all three albums are amazing. So it's but finding a good condition is not easy as well with those.
Yeah, I think this goes without saying of all the records you show us today.
Even in a bad connection, it's difficult.
Seeking the thread asks for Sweet Talks. I'm going to show a few this quickly because I've got some that I got recently from. I was very lucky to get these again with lovely covers. Like, look, this is Philips West African Records. Look, the cover on that, really nice.
Is this the Philips logo, Dave?
Yeah, look, I'll show you the label again. Original Nigerian in the sleeve. And I can tell just because the way that it's been stuck here,
Okay.
quite nice. And so Philips were very active in Africa. And so let me get that in focus. There we go. So see Philips West Africa Records.
Wow.
Well, they're from
some of these records are more the religious style, but you know, I just love the whole, you know, that these were being recorded at the time. It's very important. Here's another one. This has got a great cover as well. Sweet Talks.
Nice.
There we go. Adam and Eve.
Let me ask you all something. Maybe Stanti might be most knowledgeable.
But quickly, Michael, just had to point out that Philips is a Dutch. Philips is a Dutch.
Hey.
Yeah.
When you see it on the Philips label, I think Netherlands.
Yeah.
EMI, Great Britain. Those are all labels from the colonization countries.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, sorry, but I started its story, and please don't interrupt me. And how did they take this? How did Fela Kuti take this, and the other musicians?
God, look, this one's crazy. Look, it's Mercury, African.
But that's a great question, Michael. That's a great question.
Dave, did you hear this or the question?
Sorry, say that again, Michael.
Yeah, because EMI, Philips are all from the countries that colonized.
Yeah, you're right.
How did a guy like Fela Kuti, he was quite political, how did he take it?
Well, I don't think he really liked it very much because, you know, there's that issue, like I said, with that album Black Man They Suffer, where EMI refused to release it.
Yeah.
So he had to put it on a separate label. And I think there was obviously some... as much as these labels are going over there, including Decca as well, setting up studios in order to record. An important thing to remember is this music, thankfully, got recorded. Yeah?
Yeah.
Put on tape and then put on vinyl so we could all. Now we can do things like this where we hear it and we're inspired by it. We think it's amazing. But we have to think as well, you know, these companies, these were British companies going over there.
Yeah.
And setting up and recording this stuff, and maybe there was, you know, and with Fela, you know, afterwards he very quickly moved away from all of that and recorded on his own labels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it moved away from any association, apart from Aphrodisia with Decca. But even then, there's a big story about Fela. You know, Fela raided Decca West Africa's offices and took it over. They kicked them all out because they didn't pay him. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And he raided it, and they chucked them all out. The guy that was right, he was a African guy as well. Thought he was the main man. They never paid him. They never paid Fela, and so he went in there and he wanted to get paid. So there's background stories with all of this sort of thing. We need to just be aware of that. Yeah, we need to be aware of it. We need to listen to this.
Stante, do you have some similar information or knowledge
Yes,
about
like there's a huge difference between Ghana and Nigeria, which is Ghana, if I remember correctly, got their independence in the 50s, mid-late 50s, and it was a real independence. Whereas Nigeria only got it in the 60s, and then they had like one of the bloodiest civil war before Liberia which is why Fela was in this position. And when the civil war ended in 70, then it was a dictatorship. It was literally one of the textbook banana republics monitored by the CIA. So of course, like being an independent artist in Ghana, you had much more freedom than you had in Nigeria back then.
Okay. Thomas is ready for more music. If I'm not
I think I'll just play a little bit last track from this Pinot.
Yes.
But my favorite track.
Feed the people, make them happy. Feed the people, make them happy. Same brother now. Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people, mama. Power to the people.
Yeah, it's I think it's a good dance track as well. It's
it's again funky, it's groovy, but it's political again. So very political music tonight, for obvious reasons, right? For obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think with Fela Kuti, he came to America just when there was the Black Riot thing going on. So that's why he got into politics, I think, because he saw things he never saw before.
Isn't there a dimension with Fela as well, with like drugs, abuse of alcohol and all that, like extreme life living in a way, Dave?
I think, with characters like this, of course, they live on the edge. They're testing the edges of experience, aren't they? So you can hear that in the music as well. And I think it's a combination of all those factors that go into this music that make it so special. And it is. I mean, he was obviously out there partying, living life. I mean, look, the guy had 27 wives, right? I mean, that's
Is there any information, Dave? Is there any information what the wives said?
They all said he was very good.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And most of
oh my God!
You have to look at there's pictures of this.
He was very good at crickets.
Look. If you're hanging about in your wife fronts like this, you mean business. You're not
but hey man, come on, this is my private look isn't that much different.
Looking for some hot stuff, baby.
Get these pictures out of my head now, please.
Some hot stuff, baby. Tonight.
Yeah, but come on, this is also due to the climate, isn't it?
Look at that. I mean, that must look that's like the Calicut state with everybody there. I mean, that must have been. There's a great video, by the way. I've got to say to everybody, look up Paul McCartney, Fela Kuti on YouTube. Yeah, and what Paul McCartney says about Fela.
Oh yeah, that's.
Watch that. Go and do that. And Ginger Baker. Yeah, Ginger Baker is very important. Ginger Baker, but look up Paul McCartney, Fela Kuti after this stream. and watch that video, and then you'll see what Paul McCartney says about Fela, and then you'll go, okay.
There's a series of interviews of Paul McCartney with Rick Rubin, and Fela is one of the two only artists that
only. Stunty, you're right, the top.
Yeah.
He said the most intense experience, the best he's ever seen. The most intense experience. He went to the Fela set up the place called the Afro Spot, where he played regularly, and people that went there once they saw that, there was no, that was no turning back from it. It was the best.
So he was Was he mostly a live artist, Dave, or a record?
Very much so. If you watch, there is footage of him live, and you'll see. As much as we've got all these, amazing records, 80+ albums from him.
Yeah,
they were very much a live experience, and that's what Paul McCartney says. He went to the Afro Spot.
He went to the Beatles went to Lagos. They went to Lagos in the 60s.
Yes, they went to Lagos to the Afro Spot, and he saw Fela play there with Africa. I mean, unbelievable. And
they went to Lagos because they wanted to see him, or did they see him because they were at Lagos?
I can't answer that, but I reckon it was probably more that they went there to see. Maybe they went there, the Beatles, to go do a gig.
Yeah.
But you watch that. Just watch it, Paul McCartney talking about Fela, and then you'll be like, okay. And
when did Fela pass away again?
1977. 1977.
Because I was wondering, since Dave were mentioning all these crazy things he had to do to get these records, I wonder if he was one of the 27 wives at one point. But it doesn't match.
He was the 28th wife, though.
Stunty, I was the secret one on the side. You got to do what you got to do to get records. Yeah.
Ready for more music, Thomas?
Yeah, I think we still we keep in Nigeria. I'll play a rare track again. It's one of those tracks that was replayed by some new artist and got famous again, but I'll play the original here. In 2015, Frank Ocean did a copy of this one.
Okay.
And I think in 17 or 19, Australian Templar Impala did a copy of this, a reissue of this song. I'll just play a little bit. It's disco now.
Oh.
The pile is back on.
Oh, I know that fella.
I was going outside, so I needed a woman.
Stunty, you're not dancing.
She said, sitting by my window, watching the moonlight,
A little bit.
sun in my mind, burning up desire.
So this is again in the Nigerian session.
Yes, this is a Nigerian copy.
1984.
I've got to say, I love that Nigerian boogie thing, electro boogie style of that. You're not going to mess with him, are you? He's got it going on, that guy. He's proper.
And the sound engineer on this was obviously the bass player.
Yeah.
Give us some more. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's a super rare record. If you want it, you have to pay at least, if you find it, $1,000. If you find it.
Okay, Nadine, thanks for this information and ruining the evening.
I was before to ask Thomas to put it on my pile, but then I thought, okay, I need to pay rent. I need to pay certain things. So, but it's a great one.
Okay, give us some more, please, from that record, if possible.
Some more from that record, yeah.
Yeah, please.
I jumped to a third track here.
Nadine, isn't it the winter break?
got early house in Chicago.
Yeah, should be vinyl. There is a link among the in the video description. There you can see the OBC link, and there you can find a lot of those records. Some of them are from Dave, some of them are from Thomas. So it's a mixture of these kind of records.
Guys, I have to leave. Thank you very much for having me, Thomas.
Thank you very much for joining us, Pete.
Peter.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Salut, Blurry Pete.
Salut.
We see us at latest on Monday.
But Nadine, you don't have to worry about paying rent right now. It's the winter break. They can't evict you. Just go all in.
See, when it comes to records, Stunty knows all the tricks.
German is there quite different concerning paying stuff right on time.
Friday night, but not when it comes to the rent, Nadine.
Look, this Friday night, you're not going to muck around with him either. Look at him on the cover. He's a funky dude. Look at him.
That means you know this record. Do you know this record, Dave?
I don't, but I can just tell by the cover. It's going to be top drawer.
So when you see this record on a fair and it's reasonable, you will buy it, right?
Of course I would, just for the cover.
Yeah, because he looks like someone who could be a player of Chelsea in 2023.
Oh, hey, we don't want to get on the football thing, yeah? This year is going to be big. In fact, I'm coming Germany. Yeah, don't worry. I'm coming Germany this year. We got the Euros to look forward to, right? But Michael's frozen himself deliberately.
Yeah. Where do you see the freedom through the years? Is it on the wall? If it's on the wall, hey Joe, it will be in the OBC. The freedom through the years.
I think he's talking about something he already got, Michael.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Then you already bought it. Good choice. This is yours.
It's amazing.
I think
you want me to play a little bit from that one.
Bought it already.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. Let's see what Joe got.
Yeah, let's hear what Joe got. Exactly.
What he got, yeah. This one is more rare than the other one. That's really, really rare.
No problem. Well, let's go a little off topic. I mean, we are not.
We are into this. We were into disco, Joe. We were into certain genres. All works out. It's like being in a swinger club. Everything.
This one must be something for you as well, Nadine.
I know.
Rare.
I know. Yes, of course. Of course you have it.
Put it on the pile.
No, don't. I need to pay rent.
Where's the video feed with Nadine's pile of records?
No.
This is the end of the year.
There should be a separate one just with the pile of records at the bottom.
I already wrote comments about the Silk record, so.
In the other room, there's no space for it here.
That video is called the Millennium's Doom Clock, I think.
Exactly. Okay, now let's get into this record if Thomas is ready.
Joe, you got faith.
Vertigo? Yeah, that's it. This is right up Joe's alley.
The case of the sound engineer being part of the band.
A nice one.
A nice one, yeah.
Good choice, Joe. Very good choice. Oh,
Yes,
look at
he knows his stuff.
Nice, isn't it?
He's a man that got no heart. Baby, baby, baby.
Look at this rocker. Head banging. Give us some head banging. You have the hair for it.
Oh, wow.
It's a good record. But it.
What are we talking here?
K Frimpong and Ebo Taylor. Other like Nigerian, aside from Fela.
Okay.
Very rare. Off-Road Brothers and Gapaphone, yeah. These are super rare.
Nice.
Very hard to find.
That plastic sleeve seems to be off gassing, Dave.
Yeah,
Beware.
look, I'll do it direct. Oh! In fact, Thomas, let's do a little sleeve comparison.
No.
As Thomas already said, he started 10 years earlier. This might have been an important factor, right?
Yeah.
10 years.
Maybe a Michael, you've got I don't have that.
Let's listen to this, Thomas. Let's listen to this. I
K
want to listen.
Frimpong is brilliant. Yeah. So he's a funky dude. Yeah.
Nice.
And
He
he's
reminds me a little
yeah.
of Carl Weathers. You know Carl Weathers from the Rocky movie?
He's got that look.
Yeah,
But
he looks like him.
You know, look at this.
Yeah,
You're totally right, Michael. That could be him.
yeah.
He's a VR.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, what a nice. Let's listen to some of his stuff, Thomas, please. Because
Thomas, let's do the K
brilliant.
Frimpong. We're not going to be in trouble with YouTube with K Frimpong.
I think we're gonna be more in trouble with you showing that peanut butter beer. Dave.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Stan. So, Dom says Frimpong is super good. So, let's wait until Thomas has put up some of his records.
So, what was that record from Hey Joe? What was that called? Freedom? Joe, can you put the name please back in the chat? I need to.
Wait,
need to follow.
I just have to. It was
I know Justin likes it. Yeah.
Dragonfly on Megaphone.
Justin's going to be all over these. Yeah. I know Justin loves his Frimpong and Ebo Taylor.
I can't get through to him. No.
So Thomas is preparing a spec, which always makes me afraid a little bit.
In fact, hey guys, I'll show you a recent, very quickly. I managed to get, and this is actually another K Frimpong. So, Michael, I got this about 2 months ago.
Okay.
At a shop in Brixton. Yeah, some guys I know. And this is actually on a German label, original issue, German.
Okay.
K Frimpong.
Oh,
Original German issue. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll show you the label.
You have this one as well?
I've never seen it before. I had to buy it. But yeah, this is actually a German OG.
Oops. So Santi, don't, please. You.
Okay, because Thomas wanted to show them.
Yeah, I saw, but right. So now,
Come on, let's go. Right. There we go.
Is this all Nigerian stuff? No?
Yeah, Ebu Taylor is actually from Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
the same area of music, and it's masterpieces. All those here, I would say.
Nice. Would you play us some of this Frimpong album, Thomas?
I'm not sure you want to hear it.
Okay. Okay. The condition is not that hot, I guess.
Oh, I thought he meant that you would want it too much, and then he would tell you it's a $20,000 record.
Okay. Yeah, that might also be the case, of course.
I'll play a little bit here.
Very good.
Yeah. Thomas, Jason Rojas is asking if you have any William Onyeabor albums.
That's such an American
question. Is it? Okay, enlighten us. That's interesting.
Because William Onyeabor was there was a box set reissue on Numero Uno group, I think, or Luca Bop. So it's one of the it's amazing music, but it's one of the deep African artist records that really got like hyped in the US or in the world. Okay. And these records are usually trash, but of recent people are finding copies. Dylan Noble Records had quite a few copies of it actually.
So, Dave, you're aware of this artist probably?
Yeah, I am. I don't have any. I know. I'm aware, and I think he plays synth. Yeah. If I remember correctly. And I've seen them, but the problem is, again, like all these records, is finding them in decent condition, because normally they are like poor. Yeah. So to get one nice that you can play, it's top level. It's top level stuff. Yeah.
Masimba Belle didn't do the Toten Hosen do something with Masimba Belle? The German, terrible. I'm not, but I think at their early times, they did
a. The guys that are on the African music, by the way, here in the comments.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
Well, Bruno made the comment earlier, Michael, that there is actually a connection between Germany and a lot of these bands through Embryo.
One in the comments mentioned it already. You're absolutely right, Santi.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the
famous. That's a classic. Oh my God.
Okay, educate us about this record, buddy.
This is a very rare one if you find it, and it's the best looking cover version I have ever seen of this one. Okay. I have only seen them where you can barely see the picture of him in front of the microphones. Never seen one in this great condition.
Dave,
I'm a little jealous.
See one in this great condition. Probably you have, right?
I've had 4 copies of it.
Here, but I've not taken the plunge on it. Yeah, but I know I'm aware. Oh, look at Thomas now. Look what he's doing.
Oh. What are you looking at here? give us some information about the record, if possible.
I think there was a documentary made about this guy, a movie that you can, I think like a 1.5 hour movie that you can see maybe on YouTube, telling the story of this hidden guy and how he got a synthesizer and start making music out of it. And after that, he got really, really famous. So that's why everybody wants his records. I think I have them all, but they're also mostly beaten up. Like even though this is a really nice copy, it's.
And I think it's also.
Is it possible that you can listen to them, or wouldn't you recommend that?
Was the last one you can see? I don't know if you can see it.
The last one that was absolutely okay. I think I think
it's not an issue. Look, in this zone that we're in now.
Yeah.
I think it's not a problem. I don't. People need to get over the background noise.
Yeah. And these records, the thing is that he did them in the 70s, early 80s maybe, and then he got rediscovered and hyped. And the music is crazy, but he's completely disowned the music because he's super Christian now, and this is like sinful music. So he was surprised and a bit reluctant when there were the reissues, apparently. But that's how the stories goes, at least.
So Thomas is preparing. Really good. If you hear this, you know it's vinyl.
No, it's happening. Go for it. We need to know where we're at in the zone that we're in. This is a good example. Fine. There's background noise. Just get over it. People are going. It does my head in. But yeah, listen to the records. Yeah.
Out of the 3 albums that most people know of him, that's the most underrated one, by the way.
Baby, beautiful baby, I'm gonna take you to the
Exactly, Manfred. Exactly.
oh, baby.
Yeah. But it's difficult with those kind of tracks because you listen to this one and this actually looks quite okay. I think it could need a clean because I collect stuff like this.
Yeah.
Oh, well band.
Yeah. And I buy it even though the quality is, you can see it's missing corners.
Like we're the same like this.
Yeah, but Dave, Thomas, when you want those in mint and only in mint on near mint, you shouldn't start collecting them, right?
You'll be in your coffin by the time you find it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I gotta go. It was a great stream. I will watch it later on till the end. I enjoyed it tremendously.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nadine. Always.
Yeah, thanks for inviting. And I checked on some Fela records now on my want list. So Thomas, I get back to you later. See you guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, so it's I think it's more history than it's good sounding, and
exactly.
and
I
nothing
like
sounds like this guy.
Let me just get. Of course, you should clean them, and of course it improve it a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away from the value.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's not an issue, but you've got to be aware that when you buy records like this, you're going to be in a zone where it's maybe not what you expect if you're buying something new. And that, if you're happy with that, which I am. I've been happy with that for a very long time. Then it's cool. You know,
Thomas,
so
do you also collect vis-a-vis from Ghana?
Records from Ghana, yes.
He showed it earlier today.
I showed a few. Yeah. I'll just show some of the covers and.
Nice.
I don't think you ever see this one in this good condition, and
that's Aphrodisia, yeah. Nice.
It's an Aphrodisia, yeah.
So are those still? Is this still all from Nigeria, or is this now all over?
This is all. This a show now is all Nigeria.
Wow.
I'll show you some.
And you know, Dave, when you showed all these like almost like near mint covers, they do look more historical and important when they are shredded and you put them under nice jacket.
This is normal. I mean, I like, you know. I look at these.
Do I need a dedicated cartridge for the African album? Supposedly the Dynavector cartridges are more forgiving for software. This probably might make sense, Jefferson. If you have, there are cartridges can be quite different when it comes to this kind of things. And
it's a very, very good question, actually.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah. And I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Yes.
A forgiving cartridge is a good thing.
Yeah.
Use a DJ cartridge, a good DJ cartridge. It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the 1210, a Concord cartridge playing these records, you're going to get a good sound. You know, you're going to, you know, it's not about, people get so freaked out about the, you know, quality. And the thing is, with these, we're in a different area.
I love this cover.
Do you know the records, Dante?
Nope. It's just the color combination. I thought
but it might be that you know it, right? It can happen.
No, I don't know that. It's lovely.
Know a record.
Sheena Williams, he did 2 albums. They're both really collectible and both are really, really good.
What would be the African music that is not collectible at all? Well, there is rumba right now, music mostly from Congo and all that. Like, I guess that aesthetic. I got quite a few 7 inches in mint shape of this music, but no one is really interested in that, right? Rumba.
Yeah.
You will find Dave and Thomas several times each month here on this channel. Pieces of fun.
The covers on these are unbelievable.
Wow, brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh, the labels and covers. They're much better than the music.
That's a good label, that one, the Dix label. I know that.
I like the cover artwork on this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Body music.
Looks like a Steve Red cover almost.
So this Aphrodisia is one of the main labels then in
Aphrodisia was the Decca, yeah. Decca set that up, West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of those are pressed in the UK because I can tell they're like Decca classical records from the 70s.
This label is lovely, isn't it?
Same characteristics as a classical Decca record. So a lot of them were pressed in the UK, but they also had pressing. They also did pressing over in Africa as well. Jungle Juice.
And you can get some for €10, and they're also really good. So it's a good if you see them, just start to collect them. They're really good quality in general, and I think there's around 150 releases. And this one, this is quite rare, but Jungle Fever. This is extremely rare. But you can also see the condition again is like
EMI. Thomas, that's an EMI record, right? I've seen the pic. Yeah, so I've seen that cover, but I don't know the record because they did a lot of rock. Hey, Thomas, there was a lot of sort of African rock records as well that were put out on EMI. Wow,
this one is really, really good.
Then keep that aside, Thomas, and we stop. We will do this as the last song of the stream because we are already over 2 hours. Maria Jatta. Nice.
That's famous. That band,
that's famous.
Yeah. Gapaphone, yeah. So that's really cool.
Oh,
you know this?
Yeah, that's a cool one.
This one is a mono press, only released as a stereo. This is a mono press.
Wait, you said it was only released as a stereo, and you show us a mono. What do you mean?
Look at that cover. So
but it's a white label.
Okay, yeah.
It's a test press he did in mono. This one has never been sold on Discogs or anywhere.
The beautiful cover, Thomas. Really nice.
Yeah. Wow.
But the thing with the Aphrodisia is that they might be expensive and rare, but they're even more expensive and more rare when you get them on 7-inch. I would like to play a little bit from this one because it's really a good track as well.
Please. Of course. Keep them coming. I mean, we don't have the opportunity to listen to those as an original. Of course, you might stream them, but this is different, of course.
Oh, this one I think I'm not sure if you can find that on any streams or anywhere.
Thomas, I've never seen a Aphrodisia 7.
Yeah. Here we go.
Rewind.
My baby, I love you so, baby. My baby, I love you so.
Amazing.
Yeah, you don't hear that often. He's not a good singer, but it has a good spirit and a good feeling to it.
That's why I was laughing. I love, like, that's one of the features I love about Chicago House as well, early Chicago House, where, like, the singer or singers, they're shit, it's obvious, but they make up with the energy and, like, and it's party music, which is, it's interesting because all the music we've been listening to is party music. Like, there's not really that much room for, like, self-reflection, like, I mean, there is folk and traditional music in Africa, obviously, but what was pressed?
Let's get back to it a little bit more, the music.
Hunter, you're right. There's a lot of similarities between this and that early Chicago house thing. You know, it's very simple, but very beautiful. Like the rhythm, beat, with a vocal over the top, and it's very beautiful thing.
My baby, I want you to.
I think I have another track that you should listen to that's in the same area. I'll only play a short piece because I'm not sure we're allowed to play it.
Okay.
I'll just play a little bit just to hear it.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Can you show the record?
That's insane.
Yeah, it's also even. I love this track. I like this version of it.
The contrast between like the really complex and weird drumming and the very awful singing is wow.
Can you show it again, please? The record?
Sorry?
Can you show the record again, please?
Yeah.
It's a 7-inch.
to say.
Okay.
Yes, he does. And if somebody loved me like you do.
Dave, are you aware of 7-inch?
No, not these 7s. I'm not.
But I can imagine that you even enjoy listening to them. Do you?
I love it. I love hearing these because I'm not a big 7-inch collector, but I've never even seen an Aphrodisia 7 before. So just sort of hearing these records, and hearing stuff like this is great. You can hear it's very beautiful. So.
Yeah, and this, I mean, you are into this since over 30 years, and if someone like you says, I have never seen one of those.
No, I haven't. Not this. Up here, look at that. That's rare. And it's on the jukebox. The middle's been taken out of it. But it's probably on the jukebox somewhere. And I think that's lovely. We're going to be hunting Aphrodisia 7s now.
If you see one, you buy one, or you go into that rabbit hole, Dave?
I can't. I buy... in fact, recently...
Oh, Dave, look at this. Come on, you look at it.
It's Decca.
Yeah, Decca West Africa Limited. Oh. Charlotte Dada. Nice. Middle not taken out. So notice on that one, the middle hasn't been pushed out. It's not been used on a jukebox.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, I think you talked a little bit about some UK releases on Offsound. This is one really good one as well.
I don't know that one.
Shall we change that and give Dave a little listen?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Are you aware of this record, Stunty?
No. I'm just like a little bit nervous now about that Charlotte Dada 7-inch. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I think that's the common thing about those records we was delighted and blessed to listen to tonight is they are damn funky. Wow.
That's true, Mike.
Yeah.
Wow.
I found one here that I'll put up on the OB. I found 2 copies of this one.
Nice. Let's get into it. Let's listen to it.
I'll play a little bit from this one. It's she also do reggae.
Okay.
But I'll play a little bit from one of the funky tunes first.
We are still in Nigeria, and we are still
yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes.
That's in New York.
Yeah, it's a bit of a party tune, but it's one of the most famous label as well in Nigeria called Taratone. We don't talk much about that, but that's I think they have like 200 releases, a little bit like Aphrodisia.
Okay.
And a lot of good releases as well. But there's also like more reggae tunes into her album. I like this one as well.
I think there's something wrong with the connection, right? Honestly. But we get the idea. Hey, are you aware of this Taratone label too?
No.
No.
I don't know this.
Oh, I disappeared.
I'm not familiar.
So I disappeared.
Okay.
Taratone. It's I think it's one of the famous records on Taratone.
Just how does it sound, this record, in your because with the streaming it doesn't sound like the music is amazing, but the sound is horrible. So I was wondering.
Yeah, with the last one now, because there was something wrong with the connection.
Yeah, I think there's something with the battery here. Again, it's a lot of technique just to run to record player and.
Yeah.
But Taratone did 12 inches as well. They all looked.
Okay.
They all had this feeling.
Nice covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always had nice covers.
It's true though that most of these records will cure you from any audiophile mannerisms, because like there was never really the thought of like the sound engineers as we heard often, like, oh, they want all they will put the focus on one instrument because it's either the instrument the musician who plays the best, or because it's the most groovy. There's no audiophile constraint. Like, it was just about recording it, putting it out, and hope for the best.
But still, I was lucky that Thomas brought some of those records with him when he visited me last year, and we listened to them, and most of them sounded amazing, Santi.
Oh, sure. It's not that they don't sound great. It's just that there's no like Abbey Road.
No, yeah. Excuse me for 1 second. Can you take over for 1 second?
Sure. Let's not take over. Let's do a very awkward silence.
Yeah, let's all go static. Look.
Oh, we have to take care of something. No, you didn't talk that much.
We filled it.
That's beautiful. Beautiful moment.
Okay.
Thomas,
exactly.
Look,
it adds a lot to the song. Yeah.
Aphrodisia, but this is an African one, and you can tell because it's got the all too famous Nigerian inner sleeve. So this is an Aphrodisia West Africa pressing.
Nice.
1978. And I picked that. That's a recent one. I got that a couple of months ago.
It's funny, the one you just showed, it seems that the most worn out piece part of the record was the spin hole.
Yeah.
Dante, I love it that you spotted that. Yeah, look. Of all the things, it's actually the spindle hole that is the word, you know. But the thing is, when you come to records like this, you just have to buy them as they are. Because I've never even seen it before. I just saw Aphrodisia. I just buy it. Yeah. But the record itself is actually really nice.
It's just a shame that all these Aphrodisia have a pink label, and we're men, so we can't buy these.
I love these. I love these in original Nigerian inners. You know, from the if you look at the bottom, it says with compliments of record manufacturers of Nigeria Limited. At the bottom, it's perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, Thomas, Dave, Stunty, 2 hours, 28 minutes of African record insanity. Thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you so much for sharing all those records, sharing your knowledge. Wow. We will, I think this wasn't the last time we got into these artists, these records. I think this deserves to be getting more attention, and we will do so. I hope you join us again when we do so. I think it's impossible to cover all of it in one stream, right? It's too much out there, and so many records we should get into.
Well, I've got to say, Michael, we were hardcore this evening in the stuff that we talked about. I mean, no one goes like this deep into this stuff.
No one.
And you know,
that's true.
Dave, we didn't even get into high life. We didn't get into Roomba. We didn't get into.
So yeah, you're right. No highlight. No, not the early.
Absolutely right. Yeah, there is so much we will cover in the future, and we can cover in the future. I hope you all accompany us on that journey, and we can be so happy and proud that experienced dealers and collectors like Thomas and Dave share this with us. And I cannot thank you enough for doing this and taking the time and taking the effort to do it, because this doesn't come easy. This is a lot of work, a lot of knowledge. Stunty, thank you, of course, too, for sharing your knowledge with us. Hope to see you all on the next one, and we will do one next week. Thomas, you want to have the last words? And
yeah. Do you want me to finish up with some music? This one, or do you want to hear until we go out one extremely rare Marvin Gaye with a different version of song?
Stunty, you decide which record.
Well, what does the Marvin Gaye have to do with what we've been playing tonight?
Oh, it's just to run out of it.
No, but there's
it
no.
It could be an opening for next thing.
Okay. Yeah, next time go stay in Africa.
We stay in Africa. Here it is.
Yeah. Cobell. Yes.
What are we listening to? Can you show the record, Thomas?
It's black.
Ah, it's
Can you show the picture of him? Even make it bigger, like
Okay.
No, on the front cover.
Wow. Okay, I see now.
I know what you're looking at.
Dave, thank you so much. Hope you are with us the next session. Stunty, thank you so much. Hope you will be with us next time too.
Preston.
Thank you so much for all your work. I hope you don't freeze tonight. You get home safe. See you all on the next one. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.